What is the meaning of IBC? Good morning, doctor.
Oh, hello, I'm good.
I want to discuss with you about yesterday's lecture on some points, if you will allow me.
Of course. Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
I got so confused by what was explained about the interprocess communication yesterday. I searched a lot, but no avail.
Take it easy. I'll help you to understand it. IPC is a mechanism provided by the operating system that allows processors to communicate with each other and also allow the exchange of data between processes. Do you know that the process within a system may be independent or cooperating?
Yes, doctor, I know that, and the difference between them is as follows. Independent process, not affected by other process, and doesn't share data with any another process. As for cooperating process, affected by other process, and share data with another process. But I wanted to know about the ways in which we can share the data between the process.
If you were listening to me in the lecture, you would have known the answer to your question. Well, that's okay. There are two models of IPC, shared memory and message passing. Shared memory is a region of memory that is shared by a cooperating process, can be simultaneously accessed by multiple processes. Then processes can exchange information by reading and writing data to the shared region. And now let's go to message passing. Communication takes place by means of messages exchanged between cooperating processes. Multiple processes can read and write data to message queue without being connected to each other. Messages are stored in the queue until the recipient retrieves them. Quite useful for inter-process communication. Used by most operating systems, and last but not least, it's easier to implement compared to shared memory.
Oh, I remembered. Now I have to study the lecture again.
But now I have to ask you a question, to know how much you understood the previous lectures.
I am ready to answer your questions.
What do you know about synchronization?
That's especially needed in a multi-process system when multiple processes running together. And more than one of the processes try to gain access to the same shared resources or data at the same time. This can lead to the consistency of shared data. So the change made by one process not necessarily reflected when other processes access the same shared data. To avoid inconsistency of data, processes need to be synchronized with each other.
Excellent. But can you tell me an example of that?
Of course, it's a producer and consumer problem. There are fixed size buffer, producer process, and consumer process. First, it's a producer. It's process that create an item and add it to the shared buffer. Second, it's consumer. It's a process that takes item out of the shared buffer and consumes them.
Now, if you can find a solution to this problem, I will reward you.
Here is a solution. Book me my reward. I will impress you. Conditions must be met by the producer and consumer process to have consistent data synchronization. Producer process mustn't produce an item if the shared buffer is full. Consumer process mustn't consume an item if the shared buffer is empty. Access to the shared buffer must be mutually exclusive. It means that at any given instance, only one process should be able to access the shared buffer and make change to it.
Well done. And as I promised you, you got your bonus.
Thanks, doctor, for your simple explanation. I will try to make you proud of me.